On Australia's business channel, this is Media Week.
Hello, welcome to Media Week. Ahead, we'll talk about why we're seeing reignited discussions around media regulations and possible reforms, and hype builds ahead of the ASTA Awards next week. But first, Australia Radio Network has come out on top in the first radio survey for 2014. It's showing both WSFM and rebranded station KIIS 106.5 in the lead in Sydney's FM battle. Kyle and Jackie O's new breakfast show now leads Sydney's FM breakfast with a share of 9.3%, according to GfK's first radio ratings survey. The ARN station and Southern Cross Stereo's Today FM have effectively swapped positions, with Today FM breakfast sinking to the bottom. Well, James Manning, our co-host and editor and publisher of Media Week, joins us now, and also Ciaran Davis, CEO of Australian Radio Network. They're both joining us in the studio now. Ciaran, congratulations on the result. Firstly, I guess now, how far ahead of you of your 2014 plans are you?
Oh, we're right on track. In fairness, I think what was going to happen with this show was, and our plans were about trying to drive audiences in very quickly. You know, traditionally, if radio audiences are going to move, they're going to move very quickly. So the big marketing campaign we did at the start, the online campaign that we did, was all about driving audiences very quickly from Today FM into KIIS 106.5.
Did you have, I know that you were very confident this would happen this year, did you have any inkling on the tracking that you'd seen that you could get to #1 so quickly in the FM with those stations?
Yeah, the tracking that we had seen had very much, as the results showed, a swap from Today FM to KIIS 106.5, but also how quickly we managed to build up our social media profile in terms of Facebook followers and Twitter followers. The trends were very good, very positive.
Ciaran, were you surprised? I mean, your result's pretty stunning, but people seem also quite surprised that Today FM slipped so much. Were you surprised by that?
I think the foundation of any really good radio station is its breakfast show. And Kyle and Jackie O, wherever they go in the world, are referenced as one of the best breakfast shows in the world. It was interesting that, nearly 250,000 people left Today FM, and nearly 250,000 people came to KIIS 106.05. And that's the reasoning, because of Kyle and Jackie O. So, if you get a really good breakfast show, it helps you through the rest of the day. But without a good breakfast show, you're going to really struggle.
Yeah, so it's really key for your brand then, isn't it, the breakfast offering?
Absolutely.
Without it, it's
correct.
A bit of a fragile...
Correct. Get them in the morning, you have them all day, as the old radio adage still applies today. Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk this week about the sort of business impacts in the Sydney advertising market. Talk of $100 million has been thrown around. Could it be that big a deal?
Over how many years? The Sydney radio market is worth $200 million. Kyle and Jackie, nobody can command 50% of that.
They're writing half of it.
Yeah, not even that. I mean, and again, this is a longer-term plan that we have. This wasn't about becoming #1 in the first survey of the year. They're signed for 3 years. We've done a lot of work in the back end of our commercial operations in terms of our agency sales and direct sales, employing new strategists and online editors and online creators. So it's a part of a longer-term plan for us, not just a one survey.
Were advertisers quite confident as soon as you signed Kyle and Jackie, or before the ratings came out, or have you seen...
I think there was a lot of optimism around what they could do and the package that they had offered. Yeah. I think what they wanted to see was, were we going to be able to literally pick up the show and put it onto KIIS 106.5, and then how that rebrand was going to work and what the brand KIIS 106.5 was going to be. So there's a lot of optimism, but naturally enough, clients were looking for that first survey results.
It's been a long time since one company's had both the leading FM stations in the market. I mean, are you resourced up? Do you have the sales teams to immediately let loose? Because only so many surveys a year, and you sell, although it's a long-term thing, you like to sell off the survey. So you've got some great ammunition.
Yeah, but this is sort of a longer-term plan that you've been working towards for a long time.
So you're pretty confident.
Yeah, we've been working on ARN for the last 3 years in terms of looking at how we operate, how we go to market, how we engage with clients, the partnerships that we set up. So this has been planned for a long time. Yes, it's very good to have the audience that we have now, but we've worked really hard to make sure we've got good integration specialists and idea generators in the background to be able to monetize that audience. Because there's no point having great integration people in the background if you don't have the numbers.
So what's the next step then in growing KIIS further?
I think it will be a lot more incremental. We're not going to see, obviously, the growth that we've seen. We probably had planned that it would be surveys 1 and 2 that would happen. But, we will continue to invest in marketing, because there's a lot of people still out there who don't know that Kyle and Jackie O have changed from Today FM and are now on KIIS 106.5. So that marketing campaign is going to continue. We've also done a lot of work to make sure that those disenfranchised old mix listeners have transferred to WSFM, which probably drove a lot of the growth that we had there through Jonesy and Amanda. But we could change the music a little bit.
There was some talk this week that, look, Kyle and Jackie O have sort of, all their listeners have come across, but historically, that's as good as it gets for them. Do you think there's still some upside?
No, having a look at some of the demos that are there in terms of the breakout of age demographics, we still think that there's growth potential in some of the key areas that we want. I think that the style of show that they do is still very engaging, and to be honest, I think we're going to open it up to a whole new audience as well with the level of investment in marketing that we're doing.
And do you think you're doing a better job at probably marketing than their old home used to do?
That's probably a slightly unfair question in that I think what we're doing is actually keeping it very simple. And the branding that we've seen all around Sydney has been that Kyle and Jackie O are now on KIIS 106.5. It's a very simple message, well executed, contemporising the brand, but keeping it simple.
Digital services don't actually appear to be taking much from FM broadcasters, judging from recent results. Is that something you'd agree with?
The streaming services?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We launched iHeartRadio about 6 months ago. The take-up that we have seen has been phenomenally good in terms of listener engagement. And the beauty of it from our perspective is that it's so complementary to our FM assets, so it's actually growing our overall listenership. The difference, in my view, between streaming services and the likes of iHeart is that most people actually don't have the time to curate and load and find 5,000 songs and put it onto a system. Services that we provide, like iHeartRadio, actually does it all for you, and it's much more of a lean-back experience, which people, our consumers, actually like.
Does having Kyle and Jackie O and re-energised, if you like, Jones and Amanda in Sydney, does that do a lot for your digital offerings as well, do you think?
Absolutely. Again, our Facebook following has increased significantly since Kyle and Jackie came on, so the level of activity that we're doing and the resourcing that we've done in that area has been quite strong. But also through iHeartRadio, it does offer new opportunities in terms of content generation, podcasting, areas like that.
Can you talk us through your standing with the sales of that Clear Channel share of ARN?
So that went through. APN bought 100% of ARN about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Strong investment from APN, very big supporters of ARN and what we have done. And over the last 12, 18 months have been really supportive in terms of the investment that we've made in ARN. So from our perspective, it's business as usual, and the pressures are from one owner now as opposed to 2 owners.
Does it change the business much? Do you lose any of the learnings and connections you used to be able to pull across from Clear Channel?
No, not at all. So part of the deal is that the iHeartRadio licence is extended for 10 years with an opportunity to go into markets. We've just come back from a visit to New York working with the Clear Channel executives, so that relationship and that link is still going to be as strong as ever.
And when we had you on, I think about last September, iHeartRadio launched.
Yep.
Tell us, how's it been going since then? I mean, you're 6 months down the track again?
Yeah, so we're ahead of target in terms of registrations and users' interaction with it. I think the monetisation is a little bit more challenging for us, and we've got to do a bit more work there as advertisers learn what we can and can't do. But the drive for the next 6 months is about actually growing that listenership base, so all the promos you hear on air are about actually driving users to it.
And having better performing breakfast shows, that will help promote the whole iHeartRadio offering?
Well, the promos go out twice an hour on every station, so having more people listening means that we'll get more audience.
Yeah. All right, we do have to take a quick break here on Media Week, but coming up we'll take a look at where the discussions around media reforms are sitting right now, plus more details on the radio ratings with Ciaran Davis sticking around. That's next.